Good morning, traders. It is Friday, October 25th. Taking a look at the charts, we've got the SP 500 and we've got the our cycle analysis overlaid on it, and we got the 200-day moving average. More or less, the SP 500 cycles are still pointing to the same more or less direction. We were looking for a bounce and some type of pause or pullback, and another push higher, or potentially a little double top here, and then maybe we see the market start to do some type of deeper correction, whether it just comes down to the lower end of this range and we see the market kind of flounder here and pull down to this area. We'll see how things unfold, but overall the market's still struggling up here at this resistance zone. It's a little bit under making these breaking these previous highs. The market is primed and ready, could very easily pop and have some type of reversal, but overall it is struggling to do anything. And again, we've been talking about this. It's stuck in this pattern and no one knows which way it's going to go. It's just a matter of following the trend when it changes. More or less, we went from this little narrow range here and it broke out to the upside, and of course in one day it did most of that move and then started to pull back a bit, and really only in a couple days it really negated most of the move because there's a lot of volume through this area. That's right where it stalled out in the first day. So very tough to catch these small little moves in the market when they happen on an instant breakout. These bigger trends where you get these bigger positions here where we played the upside move using the Russell 2000, it gave us some time because there was quite a bit of distance from the breakout to these previous highs over here. But at this point, the breakout, the way it moved and was really quick, really took up more than half of the move in the first day, and that's not what we want to get squeezed into. So overall, we're waiting for the markets to do something, looking for a little bit of weakness in the market to continue to chop sideways. And of course, if it struggles, probably see money continue to move into the safe havens, and that's what we're seeing today. We're seeing metals up pretty good today. We'll cover those in just a minute. Let's go over to bonds real quick. Bonds are still trying to carve out a bottom here. Obviously, as time goes by, there's multiple short-term cycles along with these bigger cycles. And so when a cycle fails, new cycles get pulled for what's the more active cycle. And of course, it's extended the cycle forward a bit. Overall, we could get similar type of price action where price potentially holds up. Well, the cycle's put in a bottom, which would be a bullish sign. We had something like that over here where bonds held up, where bonds put in this negative kind of divergence. So bond prices held up very well, and then of course we had a nice pop. So hopefully we'll see the market continue to do the same thing. We could see the bond market start to move higher with the cycle, and that would indicate the stock market is rolling over. If we take a look over at precious metals, let's actually look at the dollar first. UUP, nice up day there yesterday. Today the dollar continues to trade slightly higher. Overall, we're seeing the dollar and metals move together. We've seen this happen quite a bit this year. Overall, the dollar's getting a little bit of traction, starting to move higher. And it's interesting that metals are moving in a strong way with the dollar. Looking over at gold, it's up 0.8%. Talked about this yesterday in the afternoon update. More or less, we've got this falling trend line right across here, where gold stalled out underneath it. We still have red bars. The market is still struggling to turn to the upside. Overall, looks like yesterday or slash today, it is turning to the upside. We're breaking out of this at the first early sign. We still haven't broken the first previous pivot high, which will be along this level here, but momentum is on our side. It's breaking through, and the upward bias here shows we could see the price continue to move up and potentially test these highs, maybe even higher going forward. And again, this is a big pattern. This pattern could have some significant moves where we've seen the money roll in, consolidate, it rolled in, consolidated, rolled in, it's consolidated, and this could very easily start to be the next leg up. So we'll be getting long gold today, or potentially gold miners or silver. If we take a look over at silver, silver is actually up really big, and the markets are on the verge of they need to break out or they're going to have a big reversal here. We've seen this pattern happen before. It happens in gold. You get this huge short squeeze and pop. It trades this little pattern, and then everyone piles in and it moves, and then it it has a big bout of selling and sells off, and that's, if you look at the cycles here, it's showing that silver could do something similar again, but keep in mind the overall trend for silver is to the upside, and if a cycle moves down in a bull market, we might just see silver trade sideways here and hold its ground until the market bottoms, and then we see the next leg up. Very similar to what happens over here. You see price and cycle move up, and then as this blue cycle moves down, we just see price trade around here, just chop and consolidate until more or less an upward bias kicks in, and we do the same thing. Cycles are negative, but because we're in an uptrend, we got positive cycle skew where price holds its ground until the cycle's bottom, and then you see another push. And that's the same for the downside. You'll have the market sell off with the downward cycle, and then when the market's moving up, you'll see price more or less hold its ground, maybe have a little short squeeze, and then when the cycle turns down again, you get the next leg down. And so it looks like things are shifting from the upside, from the downtrend, and now it feels and looks as though we're starting to head back higher going forward. And if we look at gold miners, yesterday, similar type of price action, connecting these highs. We more or less, depending where you want to argue to draw these lines, more or less we're flirting with that breakout zone for miners. And of course, it's still showing we could see some wildness, short-term cycles. But if we're breaking out to a new upside, this downward bias in the cycle actually flips, and it would create an upward move, and cycles would recalibrate. So we'll see where we are. More or less, gold, silver, miners all having somewhat of a short sell signal yesterday. If we actually look at our short-term signal here, more or less yesterday it's giving us this red SS for sell short. We're not looking to short something in a bull market. We're looking to buy when the trend turns up. So we're looking for orange bars or green bars to the upside going forward. So the market is at a point here where it could very easily roll over and sell off. But everything seems to be breaking out together, which is a good sign that prices should continue to go higher. Looking over at energies, natural gas continues to chop around. Our cycles are still showing, we talked about this on Monday, this week could be a choppy week with our cycles trading sideways. More or less, nice pop there yesterday. Today it's down 1.3%. Overall, hopefully we'll start to see this pick up speed, and we'll see a nice pop and run next week in the market. Again, forming this what looks to be an inverse head and shoulders, a bottoming or rounding formation, whatever you want to call it. Very similar to what we saw back here in July, August, and we're looking for that upward move. Crude down 0.4%. Again, squeezing up, stuck now between these two blue lines, which is a long-term resistance zone. So now it's going to be trading and ping-ponging in here. Overall, I don't really have any clear insight into crude, the way that it's got all these wild, large swings, not looking to get involved at this moment. Anyways, that's it for now. Talk to you in a bit. Bye-bye.